I very like pizza.
No, I really like pizza.
We should be very much careful.
We should be very careful.
He has much money.
He has a lot of money. Okay, so I would like to apologize on behalf of the English language because this stuff is way too complicated. And I hear people mess it up all day long. So I'm going to try to simplify this for you. Your job after you watch this video is to go listen to how these words are being used by native speakers. As always, it's much easier to learn from listening to native speech in context than it is to memorize a bunch of grammar rules. So I'm going to give you the grammar, but then after you kind of got it, go listen to native speakers and notice how these words are being used. My name is Anming Alexander, and I created English Evolution to make English easy for non-native speakers. Today, we have very much, really, a lot, so much, so many, and much. We use these terms to talk about verbs, adjectives, and nouns. We're going to take a different approach to breaking this down. The way we're going to break it down is into 3 parts. Number 1, verbs. Number 2, adjectives. And number 3, nouns. I'm also going to cover the most common native expressions and slang. I'm going to teach you how normal people might say this in normal conversation. I'm not going to give you more textbook English. You've probably had enough of that. I'm going to teach you how we actually talk so that you can A, understand us, and B, sound normal. Part 1, verbs. Verbs are action words. Sit, run, sleep, be, feel, think, love. If you're doing stuff, you're verbing. To say you do something more frequently or more intensely, you can use a lot, so much, really, or less commonly, very much. Number 1, a lot. This is very common. I miss you a lot. I love you a lot. I run a lot. I think a lot. So with feeling verbs, a lot means intensely. I love you a lot. Ooh, so much. With most verbs, a lot means frequently. So I run a lot means I run often. I think a lot. Maybe I'm thinking all the time. Notice that we're not saying a lot of, we're saying a lot. A lot goes with verbs. A lot of goes with nouns. So if you say a lot of, it has to be followed by a noun. A lot of homework, a lot of flowers, a lot of people. And we will get to the nouns later. Number 2, so much. This is very common and more common with those feeling verbs. I miss you so much. I love you so much. You can also use it with normal action verbs. I run so much. I think so much. Let me just blow your mind right now. Much, so much, and very much are not the same thing. They have totally different usage. Like you can't say I love you much or I run much. They're not interchangeable. Number 3, really is very common with verbs. I really like you. Really is used to mean 2 things. Number 1, to emphasize that something is true. I really like you means I'm not lying, it's the truth. Or intensely. I like you a lot. I like you. He is really trying. So again, it could mean it's true, I'm not lying, he's really trying. Or it could mean he's trying really hard, he's trying intensely, he's giving it his all. I really hope you can come. I really don't want to go. I really like to watch anime. It's not clear just from that one statement, I really like to watch anime, whether you mean it's really true, I'm not lying, or if you mean I intensely like it. Okay? But it doesn't matter, because if you're the one talking, it just means you can use really for both of those things. And if you're the one listening, you will be able to tell from the context which is meant. Number 4, very much is much less common because it sounds formal. Also, the usage is weirdly specific. Like, you can't just use very much with any verb, and you can't use it at all with adjectives or nouns, right? It has a weird specific list of verbs that you can use it with. It is used with verbs about desire, agreement, or liking something. So this is not an easily defined category. It's not like only with stative verbs or only with feeling verbs or only with action verbs. No, it's just this weird list that I'm going to give you right now. This list is probably not complete, but these are the main ones, and there aren't that many. Okay? Appreciate. I very much appreciate your help. I very much like you. I very much love you. I very much need you. I very much want you. Or you can put it after. I need you very much. I want you very much. I very much agree. And notice, I very much agree with you. When you put very much before the verb, it sounds even more formal. I very much disagree. I very much enjoy. I very much prefer. I very much believe you. I very much trust you. So here's a little native sounding tip for you. The most common way to intensify want and need is I want it so bad, or I want it so badly. I need it so bad, or I need it so badly. Part 2, adjectives. Adjectives describe nouns. Hot, pretty, easy, blue, tall, cheap. Really is very common with adjectives. It's really hot outside. She is really pretty. It's really easy. With adjectives in a statement, really usually means intensely. It's really hot in Vietnam. I'm not emphasizing the truth of that statement. I'm saying it's intensely hot. I'm dying. It's too hot outside. When native speakers want to emphasize the truth of something, we usually use actually. Is she actually pretty, or are you just lonely? No, she's actually pretty. Number 2, so is very common with adjectives. It's so hot. She's so pretty. It's so easy. Very is more commonly used in formal speech. It's very hot. She's very pretty. It's very easy. Here are the most common native slang expressions to say the same thing. Stupid. It's stupid hot outside. Ridiculously. She is ridiculously pretty. And super. It's super easy. Pause. If you like videos like this, take 1 second to like and subscribe to see more videos like this and also to support my work. Moving on to part 3, nouns. Nouns are people, places, things, and ideas. Students, wine, money, love, flowers, people, cash. A lot of is super common with count and non-count nouns. That's cool because you don't have to be able to tell them apart. A lot of students, a lot of wine, a lot of money. So many and so much are very common with nouns. We use so many for count nouns and so much for non-count nouns. If you don't know the difference between count and non-count nouns, that is a whole separate lesson. We use so many with count nouns. So many students, so many flowers, so many people. Notice that so many does not equal many. I'll explain in a moment. We use so much with non-count nouns. So much wine, so much money, so much love. Notice that so much does not equal much. They are used differently. First, here are some native slang synonyms. When you're talking about nouns, you can use a bunch of, a ton of, a shit ton of. Hold on, yes, a shit ton is cursing. If you don't like to curse, you can say a boatload. A bunch of students, a ton of wine, a shit ton of money, a boatload of cash. We use these slang expressions with both count and non-count nouns. Summary. With verbs, we are using a lot, so much, really, and sometimes very much. With want and need, we're using so bad. I want it so bad. With adjectives, we can use really and so, and we can also use these native expressions, stupid, ridiculously, or super. It's stupid hot outside. With nouns, we are using a lot of, so many, and so much. You can also use these native expressions, a bunch of, a ton of, a shit ton of, a boatload of. Wait, what about many and much by themselves? Quick reminder, many is used with countable nouns. Cats, students, flowers, people. Much is used with non-count nouns. Wine, money, love, sand. Good news, kind of. Native speakers will almost never use many and much in positive sentences, and that's why we didn't talk about them before. We use them almost exclusively in negative statements and questions. So, for example, you probably won't hear native speakers say, I have many cats. You will hear, I have so many cats. I have a lot of cats. I have a bunch of cats. You won't hear a native speaker say, he has much money. You will hear, he has so much money. He has a lot of money. He has a shit ton of money. We use many and much by themselves in negative statements and in questions. Do you have many cats? I do not have many cats. Do you have many students? I don't have many students. Does he have much money left? He doesn't have much money left. Did he give you much advice? He didn't give me much advice. Let's jump back to adjectives for just 1 second. We also use much with comparative adjectives. John is smart. John is smarter than Chad. John is much smarter than Chad. John is competent. John is more competent than Chad. John is much more competent than Chad. You just stick it onto the beginning of the comparative adjective. So if the comparative adjective is smarter, it becomes much smarter. By the way, we also have a more native sounding way to say much in this context, which is way. John is way smarter than Chad. John is way more competent than Chad. To wrap this up for you, if you really just want to do the easiest possible thing, I got you. Use a lot of with nouns. A lot of students, a lot of money, a lot of love. Use so with adjectives. So easy, so pretty, so hot. And use a lot with verbs. I run a lot. I love you a lot. I also have a free summary of this video on the website. So if you would like this summarized in writing, go to the website and click on free stuff. Also, English Evolution Academy Self-Study is ready. I put the link in the description if you would like to check it out. Basically, you can learn native ways to express yourself, phrasal verbs, American English pronunciation, core grammar, and what science says about the best ways to study, all in one place. And the best part is that it's affordable. So there's that. That's all for today. Happy studying.